something in which like, no, I don't want, I don't want to do it. All right, do you find yourself, all right, awkward, nodding at strangers, tongue all tied up in knots, tummy, all right, with butterflies flying, not information by all over the place. But if you think about networking, all right, networking is not just about collecting business cards and keeping them, but it is a chance to build meaningful connections and relationships with new friends and products that can open doors and create opportunities for all of us in our Avita business, very much like what Siu Ling has just shared. It is a business in which you can bring it to anywhere and you can talk to anyone about the Avita platform. So tonight we will have the opportunity to pick up even more good tips to enhance our networking skills and help to unlock the inner super networker in all of us. So our trainer this evening needs no introduction. He might be trained as an engineer, but you and I know that his networking skill is being honed again and again by himself. And he has enabled him, all right, to move outside his engineering circles and help him to build his reputation as a global wellness entrepreneur. So for tonight, he will be sharing some of the lessons that he learned from his networking sessions and help us to unleash really the super networker in all of us. Without much further ado, can I introduce you to our Platinum Director, PD Kit.
Thank you so much, Lux. That was most wonderful. Big round of applause for MC. Yeah, okay. I think she's doing a wonderful job. Okay, well, your partners.
Yo.
Okay, well, I need a little bit more enthusiasm. Your partners.
Yo.
How is everybody feeling this morning?
Good.
Very
Good.
good. Yes.
Okay, now let's get on with the topic for this evening. Yeah, I'll be sharing my experiences and some of the things that we've learned, and primarily I think just to rehash, especially for some of the people, some of the lessons that we've learned from Big L, and I think Big L's lesson has helped many of us tremendously, and this is a good chance for us to really refresh some of the lessons, and then of course during the breakout rooms, especially for some of the newer members. Feel free to tap upon the knowledge and the experiences of all the seniors that will be in the room itself. Okay, now so let's get on with tonight's training. Now we're all very familiar with this distributor roadmap, aren't we? Right? I mean, this is the standard, what you call it, SOP for how we do prospecting, to a point where we actually close, right? Now, one of the very important piece of distributor roadmap is what we call name listing. Now, name listing, I would say that most of the time, especially for the newcomers, start with a warm name list. That means people that you know, people that you are familiar with. But there will also be occasions, especially when we are in this business, we'll be doing a fair bit of what we call networking. And networking sessions are where we also will have names. Now, it's a little bit more challenging in networking sessions because most of the time, the people you meet will be people who are new, or what you say cold leads. So some of these tips or some of these pointers tonight will help some of you to improve on your networking skills when you go out to these networking sessions. Okay. Now, so the portion we're going to be focused on is really this portion where leads coming from other sources. Okay. Now, just to rehash, where are our sources of leads coming from? I guess this is one of the most common place, various social media. People of my generation probably, we are familiar with Facebook. The younger generation might use things like TikTok, Instagram, and so forth. So preference, your preferences, this is where some of the potential network, your cold prospects or cold leads could be coming from right now. Where else would they be coming from? They could be coming from various groups that you join. Now, many of us across the years will be joining all sort of different groups, right? Be it what we call groups like JCI, BNI, you name it. There are informal groups, there are formal business groups. you decide among yourself, what you're comfortable with. So this is another area where you find that, often you get a chance to network with fresh faces and fresh names. And then, of course, your various chat groups that you belong to. Now, I mean, every messaging platform, right, running from WhatsApp to Viber to Telegram and so forth, everybody has a group chat. Now, sometimes you may be added to this group chat by others, or sometimes you are the one who are probably the person who control that group chat. So, this is another area where you find that you get to meet lots of new names and new faces. And of course, one of the common source is courses, especially in Singapore. People like to go for cooking courses, IT courses, or whatever courses, wherever it is. And courses are where you meet many new faces. And I'm sure even, you all would know that many, especially Wendy's group, Ching's group, they are very good at, making new friends when they attend training, right? It can also be a yoga training and so forth. So courses. So many sources are where you come to interact with groups of people that you may not be very familiar with, or you may not know with, right? Now, if you find that, at the moment you don't belong to any group, okay, now where can you then find groups to join? Okay, now one of my suggestions would be, for example, Facebook groups. Now you can search for groups to join on Facebook, just go to, so I've just uh, did up two examples down here. You see what I type in, Singapore health groups, or maybe, Singapore gardening group, depending on what your interest is, right? And you can actually see groups that pop up, and you can go into the group, check it out, look at the members, and then decide whether you want to join these groups, well, a couple of things like, of course, if their interest fits you, and then, you have the passion for it, go for it. But this is also an avenue for where you can actually meet a lot of new people. Now, the other thing is, of course, chat groups right now. You can also go, right now, if you go to, for example, your WhatsApp, it's very convenient. Just go and click on the groups. Then you can actually see the groups that either, you have joined or people have added you in. You may not know which group you have added in. And then decide, maybe some of these groups you want to maybe focus on to be more active in, and where you can then get to meet new faces and new names. Okay, so this is places where you can actually find groups to join from. Now, one of the challenge about networking is, I know many people, especially if you're not very new to networking, can find it very stressful. I would say, I would say have fun challenging yourself. Have fun challenging yourself during this networking session to do what? Well, give yourself the task that within meeting a person for, say, half an hour, right? I must be able to fill up the person's C profile, okay? Just give yourself that little interesting challenge, right? After half an hour of talking to somebody, I would be able to fill at least 3/4 of the C profile. And all of you know that C profile is the bread and butter of what we do during prospecting, right? Because C profile is how we learn of, the person's likes, do's, don'ts, family, basically enough information about the person to make you decide whether, he's a suitable prospect, whether as a customer or even as a potential business partner, right? And then with a proper C profile, you can then discuss with your upline on how best then to approach that particular candidate, right? So a C profile is important. So when you go out networking, give yourself that challenge, right? Challenge yourself that, okay, I want to be able to fill up the guy's C profile within, say, 20 to 30 minutes of meeting the person. And you can always practice and make yourself get better at this. Okay, so this is what I welcome you to do. Have yourself some fun when you do networking. Don't worry about the outcome or whether what you're going to do with the information. But from there, when you have a C profile, it can be a very interesting exercise, for generating leads, right? Now, yeah, one other important thing, when you do these networking sessions, okay, I also challenge yourself to make sure you get the phone contact of the person and get a Wi-Fi photo and really have fun doing it, and make it a lifestyle, of networking. Okay? Now, let's move to the now. How do you prepare yourself before going for a networking session? Okay, I think, for some of you who have heard this from Big L, is very conscious of this. Now, people can easily sense that you have an agenda or intention through what? Through things like body language, through things like voice tone, or even sometimes through facial expression, for those people who are very savvy, because they've networked a lot. Now, just ask yourself, how many times have you yourself come across strangers who approach you, and before they can even open the mouth, right, you kind of sense immediately that the other person has an agenda to want to come and meet you. Okay, so there is an art to it, right? Now, a famous philosopher once said, this very a popular term, right? I think, therefore I am. So if you're not conscious of this term, right, and you go to a networking section with that thought in mind that tonight I want to introduce Salinger to whoever I want to meet, or tonight, wow, I want to hunt for my business partner. Believe me, it will definitely show in your body expression and in the way that you portray yourself or your language. So the question is, how do you then turn yourself from having that what I call the predatory mode, okay, into a very calm and collected, confident self, right? You don't want to come across as a wolf, like saliva coming down the thing, okay? You want to change your agenda and your intention. Okay, so the way to change your agenda or the intention, you must change it with the intention to help. Okay, so the question is, wow, how do you change yourself into a very Zen person? Okay, now, so one of the key is to change it with the intention to help whoever that you're meeting. You're saying that, what I want to do is anybody who meets me today, walks away that at least, having felt that I've value added, to their time. They didn't feel that it was a waste of time, just with that intention to help, if possible. And of course, Big L taught us this, right? For those who remember this from the Big L training, read this secret mantra, okay? This secret mantra several times before you attend any networking event. And by reading that, right, you are consciously changing the energy and changing your mood, right? To, before you go out to meet your prospects. And you realize that all that Big L has, in all those lines that you are reading, is just to set you up with the intention to help, right? Not with the intention to sell, not with the intention to whatever, with the intention to help. Okay. Now, for those who want a copy of this, you can get it from your upline, because I think most of your uplines or your PD lines have attended the Big L training. But if you feel that you still cannot get a copy of me, by all means, I can send a copy out to the chat group later on. Okay. Now, I find that this is actually very useful. Just by reading this, 2 or 3 times, you can keep it in your phone and, read this before you step into a networking event, and, that will be very useful. Now, how do you then prepare yourself before going for a networking session? And this is important. Now, remember, we do not sell, okay? Now, all we do is really just give people one more option. And it just so happens that our option is better than their life right now, okay? So this is the mentality that, our job, when the opportunity presents itself, is to actually let the people that we meet, to know about one more option or one more solution. And just so happen our solution is, is suited to the problems that they are facing, okay? So this is one of the mindset that you got to prepare yourself to get into. Now, how do people make decisions? This is a very interesting, aha moment, when Big L first taught it to us, okay? It was interesting because he actually says this, people actually make decisions instantly, right? On zero information. At first we were all challenging that, say, oh no, it's not true and so forth. But as he explains it more, and then later on when I explain it more, I think you will tend to agree with me that, after a while you realize that people do really make decisions a lot of time without having information of hand. Right, and whether you like it or not, with my own experiences going networking, and I realized this is actually very, very true, especially in a networking event, right? Now, decisions on whether somebody decides whether they want to carry on a conversation with you really depends a lot of times on the first few moments that they meet you. In fact, we were actually taught this by one of our uh, trainer, Titi Dure. She says, you actually, in any networking session where you meet somebody, you only have 6 seconds, right? 6 seconds to make impression, and which is very true. A lot of times, the first 6 seconds, of you meeting a new person, sometimes you actually make a decision on whether or not you want to carry on the conversation or you want to actually call off the conversation with that person, right? And so this first 6 seconds is very important, because if that person within that 6 seconds form a wrong opinion of you, you actually have started yourself off with a mountain to climb, okay? And then after that, it's a catch-up game trying to impress the person or to make an impact on the person, right? Now, so before approaching even the first 6 seconds, okay, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. Now, first is appearances, which is really dressing, right? Now, your appearances is a very big part of your first impression, right? Now, ask yourself, right? When somebody see you for the first time, what do they perceive you as? Do they perceive you as a possible entrepreneur, a successful one, a successful business person, or maybe even a housewife, right? And then, all of us, especially if we are doing this business, so we want to come across as being what? A very successful Avita wellness entrepreneur, right? So the dressing must be appropriate to that, right? Now, it's also important because dressing actually plays a very important part in making you feel good about how you look yourself. And when you feel good, it actually shows in your body language, whether it's in going forward with confidence or talking with confidence, right? Now, also ask yourself, sometimes when you meet somebody, a lot of times don't we judge somebody by the way that they actually dress? Okay, so now if you are also judging people by the way they dress, right? Then, if you go out to a networking session and trying to make a good impression, it's really important that you actually put some border into dressing up, and especially for ladies, right? A little bit of makeup would actually do amazing things for you, okay? Now, the other thing also is checking your grooming. Now, you'll be surprised at how discerning some people are and looking at things like, for example, messy hair, even longer nails are clean, clothes are wrinkle-free. And especially if you are those person, that you always have sweaty palms or sweaty hands, right? Before you go forth and shake hands, probably make sure that you want to dry your hands before you shake hands. Freshening up your breath is sometimes important, especially if you're coming from work and it's been a long day, and you may have picked up some smell from this from your lunch char kway teow, whatever it is. So be conscious. And also for some people, body odor can be an issue, and it can be something that also turns off people, right? Now, more important is, of course, I would say walking the talk. Now, all of us at Avita, we are what? Wealth and wellness entrepreneur. So the question is, for somebody who is meeting you, do you look like you're walking the talk? Now, what do I mean by that? Now, if you are going to preach to somebody about anti-aging, and then you don't even look like, you are your age, which means you actually look far older than what you are, right? And if you're coming to me and telling me about anti-aging, what do you think would be your first impression, right? Well, I say that, you're trying to sell me an anti-aging solution, but you yourself doesn't even look, like way beyond your age, then, what solutions are you trying to sell to me, right? So again, for somebody who is, maybe a little bit obese, right? And then you're trying to sell, say, Salava to slim down, right? And you are not walking the talk and taking the effort to, to look like the way you do, it ain't going to come across as very convincing. So, right, that's the reason why I say, we are in this business. It's important that we actually walk the talk, right? Now, some of us may have habits that we pick up, for example, say smoking and so forth, right? And if you are going to be a health ambassador, especially in the health and wellness business, you might want to consider maybe giving up some of these, bad habits, I would say, because again, it's a matter of walking the talk, looking the part that, you want to tell people how to be healthy, and you yourself, of course, surely must be walking that path yourself, right? So important to ask yourself, what type of perception are you giving to people when they see you for the first time? Okay. Now, then how do you prepare yourself before going networking? One of those important things is, I always say, is words, right? Words are very, very powerful. Now, words are power. Now, the right words or phrases can really help you to build trust and relationship with whoever you are talking to. Now, I should say, this is a very interesting thing. How do you make yourself interesting? Like you all can type inside your chat group, what do you think make for an interesting person? Okay, let me see whether any answers in the chat group. Okay, can anybody type, how do you make yourself interesting? I'll give you all 30 seconds to key in, and let me see what else. We have a welcome, Linda. Anybody type me, how do you make yourself interesting? Oh, I see a new message. Let me see. Smile. Yeah, good. Vivian, yeah, smile is very important. Yeah, you think say smile, jovial. Look, say ask questions. Yeah, very good points. Ask questions. Wow, Kimi says smile, look directly in the people's eyes when talking, show sincerity. Yes, all very, very good points, right? Be interested in the other party. Wow, okay. I think Mary, has and listen. Oh, Ruby makes very good point. Okay, now let me get on with it. Now, I shall tell you this story, okay? This story was actually a very popular story by Dale Carnegie, right? Dale Carnegie, for those of you who are very familiar with his book, How to Make Friends and Influence People, was one of his very popular books. And he was sharing this story about this very high-level executive who just got promoted to a job, and he was working in New York and just started on a new job, right? Because he was at executive level, she has many people working for her, right? Now, she was very well liked, but then she was recounting this story that, this wasn't the case when she actually first started working. And in fact, for the first few months that she was working, she actually didn't have a single friend among her work colleagues, right? And she was kind of wondering why. And it was actually until she attended a Dale Carnegie training, which really made her change her mind, right? Because what happened is initially, because when she was, promoted to her job, and she was thinking very highly of herself, right? She was a high flyer. So every day, when she was talking to her colleagues, she would kind of brag about, the sales that she has made, the contacts she has established, and the account she has opened, and all her accomplishment. But then instead of her colleagues sharing in the joy of her achievement, she sensed that they all seem to resent her. Right now, fortunately, at that time, within a couple of months of her, that she happened to be attending a Dale Carnegie course. And after attending the course and listening to what Dale was teaching the classes, she suddenly became very conscious of where her fault lies. And after she came back from the course, she actually started to talk less about herself and listen more to her fellow colleagues and associates. And she realized that, oh, actually all her colleagues, also all of them have their own achievements, have their own things to kind of boast or brag about. And they were very excited about telling her about their accomplishment, then, about listening to her own story. And of course, from then she really learned that, when she have a chat nowadays, she always asks all the colleagues to share their joys with her. And only in the occasion where she's being asked about her achievement, then she would actually talk about them. And this was already a very big aha moment for her, right? This is what Dale says, right? You become interesting when you become interested in other people's interestingness. Okay, which is in short to say that don't get interested in what people are happy about, or are willing to talk about. And in that point in time, she always said, you can make more friends in 2 months by just showing an interest in others. Then you can in 2 years trying to get people interested in you. Wow, that was really an aha phrase for me. Okay, so again, for those of you who have problems networking, just remember this very clearly. Okay, always become interested in the other person, in what they have to say, in what they have to share with you. And in that way, you can actually make yourself a very interesting person. Yes, even without you having to say much. Okay, this is something that I've learned, even across the last few years of, of networking. So the art of listening. Now, listen more than you speak. Always remember, we are born with 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you know what it means that we actually should listen more than we speak. Right? Now, the best way to be interesting is really to be interested. It's just as simple as be interested in what others have to say. Pay very close attention to what they say. Give them your full focus. And of course, ask follow-up open-ended questions. Okay, I will come to that portion later, and I will arm you and equip you with some of the words and phrases that you can use to help ask open-ended questions. And of course, keep your phone away. Okay, I know, yeah, even myself, I'm guilty of that. I'm trying to be very conscious that if you are in a conversation with somebody new, what you can do is, take your phone, turn it with the surface of the phone down, so you don't get distracted by incoming messages or whatever, and just focus on what the other person or your new friend has to say. Okay, just as simple as that. This is the simple art of listening. Now, let's look at the first 6 seconds, okay, of the importance of the first 6 seconds. Okay, I think Vivian and Hiri and Vivian is very, very good at this. Really, smile, smile, smile. Okay, you'll be very surprised. A warm smile is really the universal language of kindness. Now, how many of you, when somebody come to you with a big open smile, right? Instantly you warm up to them, right? Even if you don't know the person, so really practice your smile. It is actually a very important tool of networking, right? Now, second thing I think Kimi also said about making eye contact. I know some of you, because you are not used to networking, you tend to be very shy and look down and stuff like that. So I would say, practice doing this, right? When you talk to somebody, right? Focus on making eye contact at least for the first 4 to 5 seconds, because, by being able to actually make that eye contact, it actually conveys that you are confident and you're actually giving them respect and you're very interested in what they say, right? Now, the other thing is posture. One of the thing is, mind your posture. So standing straight, shoulders back, and keeping an open stance. What is the open stance? Which means that you don't talk with your arms crossed, okay? Your arms crossed like this, is a very defensive or very close, posture. When you're open, it actually indicates you are ready to engage the other person in an interesting conversation, right? Your body language should say that I am confident, I'm ready to engage you, right? So, always remember close-up body language like cross arm or slouching can actually signal disinterest, or, worse still, they signal that you're very nervous. Okay, so this is something you want to kind of like be conscious about, right? Smile, eye contact, and of course, posture, right? Now, handshake. Learn how to handshake confidently. Okay. Now, this is important. Okay. Because even I myself, right, I do judge people from how they shake the hands. So, learning how to handshake confidently is important. You'll be surprised. And usually, after a short verbal greeting like "Hi, I'm Kate," you can extend your right hand. And one of the important tip I can give is, ensure that your webbing. Okay, this is your webbing of your hand. Your webbing of the hand comes in contact with the webbing of the hands of the other party. Okay, that would means that you're actually going with a full handshake. Okay, what you don't want to do is it'll be like what we call a dead fish handshake. A dead fish handshake is like, the hand got no energy like that. Okay, and then the guy will be like shaking a dead fish down there. We can actually call that a dead fish handshake. Okay, so you can shake it once or twice then before releasing it. And you can also then practice to, now some people do use the two hands handshake, when you shake and then they have the other hand to go over it. And by courtesy, that typically, you actually use the right hand for your handshake. Okay. Now, it's also very nice to just say, instead of say hi, I'm Pedro, to add on other words like, hey, nice to meet you. And if the person has introduced the name, and say, hey, nice to meet you, Vivian. How's your day going? Okay. Now, something like that, a very simple introductory, nice to meet you, and how's your day? This can very smoothly let you transit into a more fluid conversation later on. Okay. So this is one tip. Now, the other thing is also introduce yourself enthusiastically. Now, when you say your name, please do it with a touch of energy and a smile, okay? People like to be around people who exudes positive energy. And, sometimes in a networking event, it can be pretty, I would say very noisy, right? So, the ability to be able to, introduce yourself confidently and, with enough energy sets a positive tone for your meeting. Okay, and instead of this is something that you can also improve upon. Instead of saying, hey, I'm Vivian, or hi, I'm Kit, you can say, hi, I'm Kit, it's great to meet you. right? And this is a very good way. And one of the other very good way that people like to say is use the names immediately, especially if you're just been introduced to that person. And it's a good way for you to help remember the name. So if they introduce themselves, you can always repeat the name back to them and say, hi, nice to meet you, Sarah. Let's say, Sarah has just introduced herself. And when you shake your hand, say, hey, nice to meet you, Sarah. Now, it is not only helps you to remember the name, but also shows that you're actually paying attention, okay? Paying attention. Now, one very good way that extra tip that I could share with you would be this, find something to compliment or acknowledge something about them. Something sincere. It could be as simple as, hey, I love your shoes, or I love your handbags. Hey, I love your dress. Wow. Or you have a fantastic smile. People naturally will warm up to those who actually makes them feel good about themselves right away. Okay, so these are just some of the extra tips that you can actually use to make yourself come across as very approachable. Now, some of these tips to how do you stimulate an interesting conversation. Okay, I use this a lot. One good method is really to ask about people what they think, especially if both of you have attended seminars before, right? A very good way to open a conversation with a stranger would be, hey, hang on, let me just show it. I use this a lot. What is the one thing? Right? And you don't ask them what are the many things, and what is the one thing? And for those of you who have been around people like P.A. Alvin and so forth, you actually realize that he actually uses that a lot. What is the one thing? Now, why is that so? Because one thing, when you say is one, it's not so intimidating. Right, as compared to say, hey, what are the 5 things that you like about the speaker? Right? So one of the good ways, especially when you guys attended a seminar, would be, hey, what's the one big takeaway that you had from this evening speaker, right? What is one thing that you found interesting about tonight's talk? What is one thing that you found, amazing about, what the speaker has taught us, right? So this is a very easy phrase to open up a very fruitful conversation. And always remember, master the art of asking questions, because when you talk, you're only repeating what the other person already know about. But if you listen, you actually may learn something new about the person. Okay, so this is what is the one thing, a very useful phrase for you to learn and use. Now, everybody is familiar with this one because Big L taught us this big thing, right? He said one of the 4 core skills for all of us to master to be a very good networker, right? A network marketer is really these 4 things, right? And he says the big emphasis is on building what we call rapport, right? Now, the rest of things like icebreaker, closing, and presentation is only a very small percentage. If you manage to build a good rapport with the other person that you are getting to know, wow, you say 80-90% of your battle is already done. Okay, then the rest is coming in with appropriate icebreakers, proper closing, and if the chance of falling, of course, a presentation. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about rapport and what is rapport. Now, we have all met people who somehow after meeting them for just a few seconds, right? Wow, you have a feeling that you're like best friends forever, or you can really click with this person and the conversation flows easily. Now, you have come across such person or you have such friends in your network. The next time when you get a chance to be with them, do observe them, right? Based on what you have learned tonight, observe and then learn from it, and then see whether they're actually doing what some of these things that I will be sharing with you all this evening, right? So rapport is that feeling that you get when you really click with somebody, right? It's that very comfortable, easy connection, like very easy to talk with the person, that somehow you have the same wavelength, you all think the same, right? And then when you have rapport with somebody, right, it feels like you understand each other very well, even you have just met each other for, let's say, the few seconds. So this is a big part of having a good rapport, is a big part of you building a friendship, building a very good and trusting relationship, whether it's at work or in personal life, right? Now, in Avita, there are many people that you can actually learn from, okay? A few people who particularly impressed were people like, Diamond President Wendy. Wow, she has a instant knack of making strangers feel, like she's their best friend, only in a matter of seconds, okay? So the next time you have a chance to observe her in action, see what is it that, you can observe and then learn from her, right? The other person will be like, even our platinum director, Cheng, she's also very good at building rapport, especially with strangers that she has met. And I think her team members can really attest to things like that, okay? And of course, people like PA Alvin and of course DP Poly, the way they, make people feel at home and feel instantly click is amazing, right? Every time I look at it, there's so much for me to learn from all of them, right? Now, always remember, we tend to like people who are like us. So then how do we achieve this? How do we then build rapport? Okay? Now, this is without a doubt. The first thing is smile, smile, smile. Okay, never go in with a grumpy face. You are going in networking with a grumpy face. I tell you, if you ever come to me with a grumpy face after introducing yourself, I will excuse myself and go toilet. Okay, so this is important. Learn how to smile because a smile naturally breaks down barriers. Right, so the smile is the key that fits the lock of everybody's heart. Okay, a very nice saying. Now, the art of building rapport, okay, secret number one will be this, okay? Number one, tell the other stranger one fact that both of you can agree on. Right? So take for example, the example that I put down there, right? Tell, wow, today's weather is just so warm, right? And if it has been a very warm day, the person will agree with you. Yeah, it's been really warm these few days. Now, I tell you, even that simple statement, right, of them agreeing with me, right, already bring across to the other person, yeah, this person actually thinks like me. Okay, so you want to be a little bit more classy, things like this, especially these days, inflation is the big thing, right? Inflation is really high these days, and having another stream of income will indeed be very helpful. Now, who will actually say they don't agree to statement, right? I mean, that statement, even though it seems to you to be so obvious, but just stating that statement outright, and if you say that statement to me, I will agree with you. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, true. Inflation is very high, and then, yeah, I don't mind having a second stream of income, okay? So, step number one, tell them one fact that both of you can agree on, okay? So, these are just some of the examples that you can use. The medical cost in Singapore is so high that we all cannot afford to be sick, right? Who cost of living in Singapore is so high that I think it's useful that we can have different streams of income. Okay. Now what I can do is I'll make a copy of this, available and then send out to the PD group, and then you can get it from your upline, so you all can use this as for references. Okay. Now step number two, to cement that trust that you have just built, tell them a second fact. Tell them a second fact that both of you can also agree upon, right? And once you have completed these two steps successfully, I tell you, you have just made the best friend of your life, okay? You have started to build trust in the other party, because people like to be around people who they think the same as they are, feel the same as they are, right? They feel that, wow, this person really understands me, okay? This person really can read my mind. So for example, you can also say, wow, don't we all want to spend more quality time with our family? Now, it looks like a no-brainer statement, right? But yeah, I know many people will agree with you on this statement. Yeah. I also want to have quality time with my family, right? Now, well, getting sick is just awful as medical costs in Singapore is so high. Yeah. Especially, wow, then they'll start telling you about, their cousin who just came back from the hospital, and spent a bomb on it, right? Or maybe traffic. Wow, traffic is so bad, that we all wish we could work from the comfort of our home. Right? This will appeal for somebody, who, maybe working from, used to working from home, got to get back to work in office and didn't quite like it. And then, saying this statement to them, would you make you best friends with them instantly, okay? And things like that. Well, everybody knows prevention is better than cure, right? And then, wow, the cure as medical cost is so expensive these days, right? So these are just some of the follow-up sentences, depending on how your conversation goes. And just by stating the two facts, that you both can agree upon, you have started the process of building rapport, building trust in the other person. Now, these are some of the additional magic phrases that you all can also use. Learn these magic phrases to help you build credibility, right? Build credibility in your conversation, right? Hang on first. Are you guys seeing my slides? Can somebody reply me, because I thought I saw a remark that I don't have
Yes.
slides.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay. Okay. So now learn of use these useful magic phrases, because these magic phrases are nothing new. They were all taught to us by Big L. So this is just refresher for some of you. Now I do not expect you all to use all of them. Choose the ones that you feel that you're very comfortable with, and then learn to use them well. And then from then on, you can kind of add on. Okay. Now the right words or phrases can really help you to build rapport and trust very quickly. Right? And this magic phrase can actually let you lead your conversation into your avatar business also in a very friendly and natural manner, and then master this well, you'll be surprised at how useful they will be in helping you to be able to present yourself and your avatar business in a very friendly and professional way, right? Now, magic phrase number one, okay? There is an old saying, okay? There is an old saying, okay? Now, somehow this old saying, you put it in front of facts, right? Wow, you actually make the facts even more credible. And sometimes the saying might not even exist, but by just putting that phrase in front, right? Take for example, there's old saying that prevention is better than cure. Wow, somebody who hear you say that, say, wow, this person seems to be so wise, while he also know all these old sayings, okay? There's an old saying that, wow, without health, all the wealth in the world does not matter, okay? Now, I think some of the seniors can help to type in, sentences using this phrase so that all the people can also read and learn from how you can use words like this. Then all saying that, hey, food is medicine and the right cellular nutrients can help your cells to repair and rejuvenate. Hey, there's an old saying that says two income stream is better than one. So this is a very popular, there's an old saying, makes your facts just seem more credible. Okay, magic phrase number two. Now, this is a very informal, hey, well, you know how. Now, somehow these four words, okay, well, you know how, spoken in a way, okay, actually makes people listen. Well, you know how we all want to be healthy as we grow old. It actually captures people's attention. Well, you know how we all want a career that can help a lot of people while making tons of money. Well, we all know how we all want to build different streams of income. Well, you all know how we all want to look and feel 10 years younger, right? Well, we all know how we all want our parents to live a life of quality as they age. Well, you all know how we all still have a stream of income. We all still want a stream of income even after we retire, right? Now, these are sentences that will attract people to want to learn, to want to find out more from you, because you seem to have know some secrets about some of these sayings. Okay, so well, you know how is a very powerful phrase. Now let's get introduced to phrase number three. Everybody knows. Now, everybody knows it's a very interesting phrase because everybody likes to believe they are part of everybody. Now, unless, of course, there are some people who like to be special. They always like to feel that they are the loner out of the group so that they stand out. But actually, most people, right, not everybody knows that, everybody want to be part of everybody. You want to be part of the majority group. Nobody really want to be in the minority group. It's what we call the fear of missing out syndrome. Well, everybody knows that prevention is better than cure. You realize that the last sentences can be almost the same, but by just changing the front part of using the magic phrases, you can actually use those phrases over. So it really depends on which phrases that you actually particularly like. Where everybody knows that Switzerland is known for their stringent quality and safety standards. Well, everybody knows that getting sick in Singapore is so costly, right? Well, everybody knows that without health, everything is zero. Like, wow, simple sentences like this. Even if you speak it out, believe me, if you have used sentences like this, I'll be attracted to want to find out more from you as to, what you actually do. Now, let's look at magic phrase number four. Again, a phrase that keeps you from missing out. Again, everybody likes to believe they are part of the majority, right? So you use the words that everybody says, right? Everybody says that prevention is better than cure. Well, everybody says you can die but cannot get sick in Singapore because medical cost is so high. Now, everybody says Switzerland is known for their stringent health and quality standards. Everybody says that it's better to be your own boss instead of working for somebody. Now, the other phrase that, you don't like to use the word everybody says, you can also use the word most people, right? And most people will say that because everybody like to be the majority. Well, most people know that too much medication is harmful to the body. Wow, when I listen to that, I was like, yeah, okay. Well, most people know that Switzerland is known for their, high quality standards, Yeah. No, I will agree with you totally on some. Most people know that constant stress on the body can lower down your immune system. Now, most people know that the rich and famous, they fly to Switzerland to receive stem cell therapy treatment so that they can look and feel young. Well, most people know that 75% of your immune cells lies in your guts. Now, I tell you, even if I don't know this fact, I will agree with you because, because most people know, I should know these facts. Most people know that 75% of your immune cells lie in your gut. So this is also a very, it's one of the two words I actually use quite a fair bit to most people, right? This is one of my favorite way to ask questions in a very palatable manner. Would it be okay if? Okay, now the thing not to use. Okay, I'll show you what is the word that you should not be phrase you should be able to use. This is asking permission from somebody, and most of the time, when you ask this question to people, they will actually say okay. It's like, hey, after listening to you, will it be okay if I share with you how you can slow down aging and regain your health, energy, and vitality? Hey, would it be okay if I share with you how to build a second stream of income while helping many people? Hey, would it be okay if I share with you how you can gain time and financial freedom? Hey, would it be okay if I share with you how you can spend more quality time with your family and still maintain your current standard of living? Now, you can use it as a spoken. I also use this in text, because when you use this in text, right, it's like I'm asking permission to see whether I can share a certain information with you. And, most of the time when I use this phrase, you tend to get an okay from people. Okay. Now, the phrase that you do not want to use is this. Never use, would you be interested? Okay, immediately you get a big sign. Yeah, I'm not interested. Okay, it somehow this word interested triggers a negative response. Okay, so a more palatable way to ask, would it be okay? Okay, would it be okay? Followed by whatever you want to ask. Okay, this is one of the best phrase that I use quite a fair bit, whether even in text or even in spoken manner, right? Phrase number 7, I just found out. Okay, this is a very interesting phrase to elicit curiosity in the person, to want to find out more about you. Wow, I just found out how we can build a business while working and fire our boss in 3 years' time. Yeah, when I listen to you here, I'll say, yeah, tell me, okay, because I also want to find out, right? I just found out how we can enjoy the same anti-aging benefits at the fraction of the cost that all these rich people are paying, and best of all, we can do it from the comfort of our own home. Hey, I just found out how we can make our parents feel younger and have more energy and quality health. Hey, I just found out how we can build a second stream of income to counter the high cost of living or to counter inflation. Hey, I just found out how we can feel and look at least 10 years younger. Now, isn't that a very powerful, phrase to just, your friend will be begging to ask you what is it that you just found out, right? Okay, magic phrase number 8. I have some good news, I have some bad news. Now, people tend to believe the bad news first, and then they'll be very keen to hear the good news. So typically, people will say, "Oh, let me have the bad news first, and then before you hear the good news." Now, the thing is, regardless of whether they say good news or bad news, right, always deliver the bad news first. Okay, even they tell you to give me the bad news first. No, to tell me the good news first. still go ahead and deliver the bad news first. Okay, so the way this phrase work is the bad news must always come first. Okay, so we say I have some good news and some bad news. Which one would you like to know first? Whatever the answer doesn't matter. Always deliver the bad news first. Okay. Well, the bad news is as we get older, we have the tendency to grow fat easily. Hey, the good news is we have an easy solution suitable for our modern lifestyle. Hey, the bad news is we cannot fly ourselves to Switzerland to receive all this very expensive anti-aging cell therapy treatment. Hey, but the good news is we can now experience the same benefit from the comfort of our own home at just a fraction of the cost. Right? So this is how the good news and the bad news phrase works. Right? Now let's go to magic phrase number 9. There are 2 types of people in the world. Okay? Now, there are 2 types of people in the world. Okay, those who get fatty liver and visceral fats and die young, and those who know how to reverse it and regain good health. Guess who they want to be. I want to be in the type of people who actually know how to reverse the thing and gain good health, right? So I'll be curious to want to find out from you, what's your solution like. There are 2 types of people in this world. Those who decide to take their chance and risk getting dementia in their old age, plus those that take preventive action, that prevent them from getting all this neurodegenerative disease. Now, there are 2 types of people in this world. Those who complain about the high cost of living and those who take decisive action to build a second stream of income to counterweight. Now, there are 2 types of people in this world. Those who continue to grow old at a normal rate and those that take Selagen. Wow, tell me what is Selagen. Okay, so this is a very good phrase to use to contrast. There's only 2 types of people in the world. Okay, and then Dr. D is also putting a lot of good examples down there. So for those of you who are new to this term, you can look at how some of the leaders have been using some of these terms, right? The magic tree. Now, the magic tree phrase can be combined to present problems, possible solutions, and also elicit an invitation. So what are the magic tree phrase? So it goes like this. Well, you know how. That would be the first phrase. And I just found out. Then followed by, just now, if you remember the sentence, would it be okay if? Okay. So that's how you actually structure the 3 sentences. An example would be this. Well, you know how living longer is better than dying young. Well, I just found out how you can live longer with quality health. Would it be okay if I were to share the secret with you? Right? A very elegant way of presenting solution, elicit curiosity, and then you ask permission to share with that somebody. Okay, so this is how you use the magic tree phrase. Yeah, you can take photos too, and then so you can use them later on in the breakout rooms and so forth. Okay. Now, how to build influence. Now, people are very, very interesting, right? They are pre-programmed to believe that if you are an expert in one area, you somehow will be an expert in all areas. Okay, so it's always good to make yourself to be very good, at least in one area. Well, since we are all Avita wellness experts, my humble recommendation would be learn to make yourself an expert in at least one or more area, and it would be good if it's in the area of health. It could be anything from meridian therapy, which is all the meridian 101. It could be very good in Selagen. You can very good with your gut health, as like what Attorney Jonah will be giving a talk on Thursday about gut health. Now, if I listen to Attorney Jonah and she gave a very good presentation on gut health, right? The next time, if she's going to talk about some other topic, I have tendency then to believe that she's also an expert in those areas, right? And of course, those people, some of, the leaders are very good at numbers, using numbers to tell about health. This is another very good thing to master. So just make yourself a master in one area. And how do you do that? Of course, you have many choices, if you are all taking workshops in marine therapy, you can put in the extra effort to make yourself very good at it by being a speaker and so forth, and that makes you an expert. But nowadays, really in the world of the internet, right, and with things like ChatGPT and so forth, it actually does not take a lot to make yourself an expert in a field, right? In a particular health field. Take for example, gut health. Really, I tell you, within half an hour, if you know all the crux facts about gut health, you can make yourself into a very credible expert to talk even on a very simple topic about gut health. So I will highly encourage, especially this coming Thursday, listen to what Attorney Jonah has to talk about in terms of gut health, and use that, use that as a good way to educate yourself and also make yourself an expert in one area. And once you become an expert in one area, you find that it's not so challenging after all, and you start to make yourself experts in different areas. Now, if you are, I would say that in our business, with Celagen being our star product, I would highly recommend that you do make yourself an expert in cell therapy, what it can do, and things like that. And your information must be really readily on hand. It'll be a very, very powerful tool for you, okay, as a distributor. Now, copy and learn shamelessly. There are many ways. One of the best way to learn is through our YouTube Avita Stories 1 and 2, constantly coming back for your AMC refresher courses. There are lots and lots of online material nowadays. We Google and so forth. It doesn't take a lot to make yourself into an expert. And take short courses if you find that you are better at learning by taking courses, then by all means, right? There are many different courses that are out there that you actually can consider to take to become an expert. And one important thing is, for those of you who attended my talk on, how to, use social media, and also those who attended, PLE's talk on branding. Again, how do people know that you're an expert? And one way is really to publicize this in your various social medias, in your chat group, and make yourself very good so that even in the conversation, right, you can hold a very credible conversation, let's say about gut health, things like that, right? So this is one of the things that you can do to build influence and build knowledge. Now, some magic icebreaker words. Now, during a conversation, if a friend were to somehow describe a health challenge, right? Because you're talking about health, and then they warm up to you, they start telling you about some of the health challenges maybe that their loved ones are facing, or maybe they themselves are facing, you can do the following. Now, you can always repeat the problem back to them. Okay, like for example, do you have this insomnia problem? Okay, do you have this sleeping problem? Let's say he was sharing to you, and you can repeat the problems back to them, right? You're just saying that you have this insomnia problem. Then just keep quiet and listen. Yeah, then since you ask me a question, I say, yeah, I know. Well, for many years I've not been getting good sleep. This is when, if they say yes, right, you could then come in again. Remember that magic phrase? Would it be okay if you could fix it, or you could solve it? Will it be okay if I share with you a solution to solve your insomnia problem? Will it be okay if I share with you a solution to resolve your stiff neck and stiff shoulder problem? Will it be okay if I will share a solution that could help you address your autoimmune condition or your arthritis condition and so forth? Now, if they say no, you can just reply, well, what else bothers you? Right? I mean, just keep the conversation goes. If they say no, then, but if they say yes, of course, that's an invitation for you to share the solution they have in a very concise manner. Right? Now, some other magic icebreaker words. Now, during the conversation, you can also ask this question at a very appropriate time, right? Now, what are the two biggest health problems or two biggest health challenges that you are facing? Again, keep quiet and listen. And say, this knee that's bothering me, the painful knee that's bothering me, or I have this, sleeping issue that, I see so many doctors and I got to use sleeping pills and so forth. So, if you ask questions, smoothly, during a conversation, this might come out. This is a question you can pose. Now, upon their reply, right, you can offer them a simple solution and say, well, would you like to do something about it? Or will it be okay if I share with you a solution for you to do something about it? Or will it be okay if you could do something about it, right? This is a very invitation for them to come and ask you what the solutions are. So this is also a very nice way to ice break. Now, some other magic icebreaker sentences is what we call a benefit plus permission sentences. Now, wow, what is new with you? Now, this is for friends that have not met for a long time, right? And then, you want to catch up, and it's really a genuine interest to want to catch up with the person. Well, what is new with you? This invites them to really talk about themselves, and this is where you really keep quiet and listen, right? And if during the conversation, a situation presents you with an opportunity to offer a solution, now this is what you can actually say. Now, typically, I like to use a relevant story, right? If somebody talks to me about, wow, I've got this busted knee, went for surgery many times, also doesn't solve my issue. I would then say something like, your story reminds me very much of my good friend Chong Ping. He used to have this busted knee problem that prevented him from running, but he actually managed to overcome that problem. Now, this will actually elicit, curiosity or interest in the person to want to find out more. Now, would you like to know how Chong Ping did it? Or would you like to know Chong Ping's secret? Or would you like to know how he went about to resolve his issue? And then you say, yeah. Then we should talk, right? If the reply is affirmative and so forth. And typically, if you were to use these sentences correctly in that way, 99% of the time, you will just elicit a positive response to say, yeah, tell me about it. I'm curious to find out how your friend did it, right? And that gives you a chance to go into what you want to talk about. Now, this is important. Remember, P.A. Alvin taught us about branding, right? In the first 6 seconds, one is, of course, you talk, you stop, you listen to a lot of people, you ask questions and get the other person to just keep on talking. Now, at one time or so, people will actually turn around and kind of ask you, especially if this is a stranger who doesn't know you, right? So what is it that you actually do? This is where it's important. Remember, PA we went through with several, not so powerful pictures to more powerful pictures, and some of the ideal pictures. So like these are just some of the ones that I've actually crafted for myself, to be used. If I have an appropriate moment to introduce them. Yeah, I help people to slow down aging and prevent degenerative sickness with cell therapy. I also coach like-minded business partners to expand their business across the region. Hey, I'm a wellness entrepreneur who helps motivated individuals to be their own boss through the Avitas Wellness Business Coaching Platform. So these are just some of the branding that you can use about. So do work with your upline, whether PD or DP, to craft your branding and your elevator pitch, okay? Because this is something that you want to get very fluent at, especially when you are introducing yourself to somebody who's new. And, in turn, they're also curious about you and want to find out about what you do. Now, and some additional tips to come about to build rapport. Now, one is really this: bring positive energy and bring positivity. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate positive energy, right? And approach your conversations with enthusiasm and a can-do attitude, and all your upbeat vibes will be very contagious, and others will enjoy being around you. Okay, so this is something, don't go in with a very negative or, sour face and so forth. You will find a lot of people try to shy away from you instead of talking with you, okay? Now, this is something you can also do. Remember what I said about complimenting people sincerely and authentically? A sincere compliment can actually buy you a lot of goodwill, but just ensure that it's authentic and it's sincere, right? A very genuine compliment like, hey, I love your perspective on the topic that you just spoke about. Hey, your presentation was incredibly insightful. Or, oh, wow, what you shared with me just now just made my day. It's so useful. I've learned so much from you. Like very simple gesture of compliments, it can actually make someone's day and set a very positive tone for your future interaction or conversation with them, right? You want people to walk away from you with a positive impression of you, right? Now, the other thing is also about mastering the exit strategy, right? Networking isn't just about starting conversation. It's also about how you end your conversation very gracefully. Now, you can leave on a high note by expressing really how much you have enjoyed your conversation and suggest a follow-up, like exchanging contact details, taking photos together, or connecting with them on Facebook, LinkedIn, on the spot, right? Getting the WhatsApp contact will be also very useful. Because one of the things, be mindful that, sometimes in a networking, you also want to kind of move around and meet more people. So if you have, given enough time to somebody after, say half an hour of conversation, and you want to meet somebody, then you learn how to exit, gracefully, but yet people remembering you. So this is where, ending with exchanging contact details, adding people onto your Facebooks and stuff like that. And if you have done the whole thing properly and they're happy with you, believe me, they'll be more than happy to exchange details with you. And you can end with something that say, wow, it was really fantastic chatting with you. Let's definitely keep in touch. Or you've already interested them enough to meet up, you can set up an appointment to meet up for a follow-up copy or even to meet somewhere and so forth, right? This is how you can exit gracefully. Now, one of the other important discipline about networking is also what I call post-networking. What do you do after your networking? Now, immediately after you have met somebody, this is a very interesting tip that was actually taught by Alvin to all of us. Now, in your contact details, especially on the Apple phone, I suppose the same feature do happen on Android and so forth, right? Now, after you have taken a photo with somebody, contacted with it, what you want to do is, before you forget what you have learned about the other person, you can very quickly go to your notes or on your, or I mean, up to you where you want to type it. But what I found that was very interesting in the Apple contact, right? You can actually put notes along with the person. And this is what I started doing. And one of the other good tip is, if you belong to a networking group, and sometimes when they induct new members in, right, and the new members kind of introduce themselves, right? What I do nowadays is, I actually copy and paste what they have introduced about themselves. I go to the person's contact, I actually paste it into the note so that if I ever should chance to meet this person finally in face-to-face person, right? I could refer very quickly to my contact details and see, who is this person, what is his background, and so forth. Okay, so this is another very useful tip that you can actually use immediately after your networking, fill in and update the details into the notes. Right. Then after that, you can transfer them into a property profile if applicable. You find that this person actually has potential to be a business partner or prospect, whatever it is, then please by all means, fill up a C profile. Then you can refer to the notes that you have used. And it's always good to send a thank you or nice to know you message plus the photos that you have taken together. This is what I tend to do. I say, hey, it's very great chatting with you. Let's catch up soon. And these are the photos that we have taken together. And this is a very good way to kind of like, make sure people remember you. Okay. And you can discuss with your upline on how to proceed, whether it's to invite to a suitable Avita event, workshop, BOP talk, or you can arrange a face-to-face meeting to get to know the friend a lot better. That's one way. Or if you find that a friend is interested in certain topics, you can also send appropriate reading material or testimony, okay, if relevant. And you can also send regular festive greeting because sometimes you meet so many people but have not got a chance to meet up with them. Then I would say that, put them onto your broadcast list. You can also send them regular festive greetings or, when there are opportunities to do so. That's so that people don't, people remember you. Okay. Now, so enough of me kind of talking. We will kind of go into a breakout room. There are 4 rooms, and if you don't have a room right now, please rename yourself and get into a room. And I will get, you can take a picture of basically the breakout room discussion. share your one big aha or takeaway that you had this evening. And which tips or magic phrase would you want to start using in your next networking session? And of course, you can also practice. Wow, okay.
Yeah. Because he say last time he's very shy, dare not talk to people. But experience, everything had changed him, and it's whether we want to take the effort or not. So very good sharing from Christopher. Let's hear from Christopher.
Oh, thank you, Zuling. And no, I think what I wanted to share or what I have shared is that while Kit has shared those things to many of us are not new, but they are a very good constant reminder, very good factors for us. And for many of us, we hear for a few times, but it is still a very difficult thing to talk to people. So I was just sharing that in my younger days, college days, all the way. I have been a very shy person, very shy to talk to people, especially ladies. Can never talk to them eye to eye, be all over the place. But environment, once you get to know what is your job, as an internal auditor, you have no choice. And then over the years, it would all come. So the point is to say that you have the knowledge now, what it can achieve. And if you feel that it is a job, not a job, but something that will help you to achieve your objective, then just practice it, find the opportunity to practice. And over time, you will get more proficient in it. As in the case of even Yin Ting was sharing that, start talking to strangers now. That you need to be quite bold to do that. But the point is be willing to talk to people. Don't have to be about our products, but just the act of how to be comfortable to reach out to people. That's it. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Yeah, that's great advice, you know. What, Chris, yeah, tell me you are introvert. I can't believe it.
I was.
Yeah.
I
all the-
still am if I go to a new, like there's a party or there is a gathering and I don't know the people there. Ayo,
I thought you'd be the life of the party, man.
no, not
Okay.
at the beginning when I don't know anybody.
Okay, room two, come. Come,
I would
room
like to
two.
invite
Want to share?
Natalie to share her experience with
Oh,
Dean.
cool. Come, Natalie.
Okay. Like Christopher, I'm also an introvert. We are all in the same profession. Okay. I was sharing with the group about actual OJT at the conference recently. I saw my upline Christine at work. She was totally smooth. And I could see what kids shared, right, about rapport building, it being very important. I see it coming alive. Um, but I must also say that in the first place, the other person was also a very open um, person willing to share. So that sort of helped, because if that person was like very quiet and not responding, then I don't know, it could be a different outcome, right? So basically the rapport building again is very important, and at the same time, because she was able to share her need, and uh, coincidentally, it was something that Christine had a personal experience. So that testimony that she shared, right, sort of trigger further interest, right, in the co-lead. So and of course, as usual, we take photo, we like to take Wi-Fi, right? And she got the contact, and I think she's gonna follow up subsequently soon. Yeah, with the 147.
Good, good. I think, Natalie, that's very good sharing. I think a couple of tips like Natalie. I mean, once you get to be learn some of the skills on networking, it's also possible to kind of draw out people who are very quiet to talk more, because people are very quiet, right? If they find that, wow, this person actually takes an interest in what I'm saying, and then if you are, going in with a very authentic demeanor, they can actually warm up to you and open up to you. Right. And the other advice, remember what you say is that you're saying that Christine happened to have that experience. It's also one of the reasons why I do encourage you all to, know as many people in Avita as possible, because a lot of the testimonies are actually from people that then when you meet them, it becomes very different because this is my friend. This is a sharing from my friend. So when I share the testimonial with you, this is not some stranger that I kind of like just send the testimonial to you, but I don't even know who the person is. And I think that can be so, so powerful, right? When you share testimony of, then you can use that word that, wow, your story remind me of my friend. And yeah, I want to share the story with you, and then you can see whether it's something that you want to think about, right? Thanks, Natalie. Come room 3, Chong, who's from your room?
My room, I got Dr. Angie. Dr. Angie, would you like to share?
Hi, Dr. Angie, where are you? Where's my favorite doctor?
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Angie, where are you?
May somebody teleport Dr. Angie to the spotlight screen.
Oh, Dr. Angie.
No, she didn't on her video.
In that
Hi,
case,
Angie.
Spotlight.
maybe I will invite Lana to share.
Okay. Hi, Lana.
Okay. What I just shared or what Doc Angie shared.
Whichever, as long as
We requested DP Wendy also to share how she gets to connect with people, how she's able to strike conversation, and she just was reminding us about just be authentic. She would say things that she feels about, like, to connect with someone she does not know, to strike on a conversation. Just be authentic and sincere. But she also said that it's not always she's a blue person. There are times that she's not she woke up on the wrong side of the bed, but it's okay. So I forgot how she shared about anyway, those are the things. And some of my teammates and I will be practicing what has been shared earlier on, like the phrases that you shared earlier. So thank you, PD Kid.
sure. I think Lana brought up one very point. I know there's one topic I've never brought up was about colors. Yeah, probably incorporate it in future into the whole thing was about, especially for those people who are very new to this, please learn from your uplines
Okay.
about colors. People are generally divided into 4 distinct colors, and certain words appeal to different color people. And if you learn how to speak the words of the color of the people, it will help very quickly for you to build up trust. Okay. All right, room 4, come.
We have Dr. Grace.
Yes, so we had a very fruitful and interesting session in our group. So first, I realized that what PD Kid did was he synthesized all the previous lessons we had with the other leaders, including branding, including, use of social media and how to use C profile and you use your iPhone to put on all the information you have. So it's readily accessible. So, and we agreed that when doing the C profile, we should be as natural and be yourself so that you're not exhausted trying to dig out all the information from the other party. And according to Dr. D, the secret is also practice and more practice and more practice until it becomes second nature. But you don't have to punish yourself by trying to practice everything all at the same time. You can practice one magic word every week until everything becomes yours. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Dr. Grace. That's really great advice. And yeah, I think I don't expect you all to use everything at one go. Yeah, just start with what you like, what you are comfortable with, and the main thing is to start, right? Take baby steps and then make it yours. Then after you have mastered that, you can go on to master the rest of the magic phrase that you like. Okay, good. All right. So let me then just say, remember, strangers are just friends who have yet to meet. So go for and network. Okay. So with that, I'll hand it over back to my lovely host, Lux. Lux, is all yours, Lux.
Thank you, Kit, for that wonderful sharing. Once again, it's a lot of reminders for, especially for me, that when I go networking, the intention is to just treat them as friends, rather than attempting to, like, at the back of my mind, what am I going to talk to them about. Just be natural, be authentic, be sincere, show really sincere interest or in the strangers that you are meeting or in a particular networking event. Thank you very much. And before we go, we have events that are coming up, Kit.
Yes.
Okay, the first one, and that is Healthy Gut. Continue to invite your friends to discover how you can have good gut health. And because a good gut health is one that will have a big, huge impact on your well-being. So remember the date, this coming Thursday, 7:30 via Zoom. Continue to send the EDM to your friends. Next one. Kate, next one.
Yep.
Okay, right. This weekend, what is the big thing that is coming up? AMC in Singapore. This is in Chinese. If you have friends who still are keen to join the Ambassador Mastery course, do invite them to this one that is coming up. If not, then they have to wait till March 2025 to join the AMC. So talk to friends who are interested. Talk to your upline about their interests and see how they can very quickly sign up for the AMC. Okay, next one. Lastly, we have our dear Kit going up to Cambodia. When? Next Saturday, 23rd November. So again, take note of not only the date, but the location, and invite your friends to come and listen to kids sharing about ELS, the opportunities that they can be offered in order to have time freedom, in order to have financial freedom. With that, is that all there is to the events
Yes,
coming
there
up?
is, I think, photo taking probably.
Okay, with that, all right, thank you very much. And can I invite PA Elvin to help us to take a group photo? A family photo, don't just say a group photo, it's a family photo. All right, best smile ahead. Best
Okay,
put on your best
come
smile.
on, guys.
Remember,
Turn
smile.
on your camera. Turn
All
on
right,
first. Left,
smile.
wait, there are a few more, Villa. There I see Kesiang already, finally. Jermaine, Yun Ting, Lila. Turn on, then I say, put on your emoji, then all put on your emoji, okay? Finally, okay. Elsie.
He's still driving.
Okay. Put on emoji now. Okay, ready to smile now. Okay, done. If you close your eyes, too bad.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kit.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you, Kit. Thank you, Locke.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you,
Good
Locke.
night.
Good night.
Thank you,
Good
Kid and
night.
Lo.
Breakout.
Good
Thank
night,
you,
everyone.
Kit. Thank you, Lux. Good night.
Good night.
Hey, definitely, are we using back the same room, or you want to
Yeah.
separate room?